Welcome back to Seriously What the 40. And today we are talking about goals. So I think this is the perfect one. This is our last episode of 2025. And so we're going to talk about goals or resolutions, whether resolutions or not. So I think we should just first say, do you do resolutions or goals?
I stopped doing resolutions a long time ago because it was a fail. And we'll talk about it more, but I think I'm more goals. Like by this time I need to do this versus a resolution, which is so vague for me. And then I end up never doing it. And then every single year it's the same darn resolution because I can never get it done.
So with that, then what are the resolutions that you've never gotten done?
Stop procrastinating. That's like my biggest one. I'm like the biggest procrastinator, but I feel like it's in my nature. I do things last minute. I thrive off of last minute stuff, hence the ER nursing part of me. But it's not what I want to do. I like to be organized, which is weird because part of my brain is very organized. I'm like a checklist kind of gal. And then I don't like doing things last minute because it gives me anxiety. I already have anxiety to begin with. Mine is stop procrastinating. It's been that for, I want to say, the last 20 years.
Mine's always drink more water.
Oh my God. That's
because I'm horrible at it.
I'm very bad.
Very bad at it. And, you know, I was just watching a podcast the other day and it was a magazine and it was reading about all the things that can change if you drink water. And I'm like, again, it needs to be on there. I think I've done resolutions, but over the years, the thing is that I've kind of defined and I've written a couple blog posts that resolutions don't work unless they're goal oriented. So I think but it's so funny how it's like January 1st comes and it's like this whole new year and it's everything changes and this is where we want to go. And I just, you know, especially in the health and wellness industry, like it's spend the whole holidays eating whatever you want. And I'm going to do everything starting January 1st.
That goes back to our previous podcast. We were talking about it. We're like, everything is on the back burner. Let me just enjoy my holiday season. January 1st comes up. Gym memberships go up. They increase literally because everyone's like, but I feel like there's so much pressure on people, women, men, it doesn't matter, that everyone has a resolution. So I should have a resolution. And if I don't have a resolution, that means I don't give a shit about my resolutions, you know, like, or myself. So you're forced to make a resolution and then it's not really even, you know, really deep. It doesn't sit well with you.
Yeah. You have to have, as I like to say with clients, you have to have things that are time bound and specific and really break them down. I did have a massive goal for 2025. So I think I mentioned before that last year I was diagnosed with the whole herniated disc and then, you know, the whole menopause and all that kind of stuff. So my biggest goal this year was just to be able to run again, because that was the main reason why I finally started down the road and went finally to the orthopedic surgeon and doctor and all this other stuff. I was like, I can't run. Like I cannot run for not even a block, just a little tiny way. I couldn't run because the next day I couldn't get out of bed. It was so painful. I couldn't get out of bed. And I was like, I hate running.
I hate running.
But the fact that I couldn't do it, if I needed to do it, it was one of those things. Just the other day, I thought to myself of running from one girl's soccer game to the other soccer game because they were really close. And I was like, I just want to run because it's really quick.
Yeah.
And last year, there's no way I could have done that. But it was so cool because my husband said, did I hear you running on the treadmill the other day? And so I have a video and I'm going to show it on social media, but I can run. Like that was my biggest goal for this year, was to be able to run. I'm not doing a marathon. I'm not doing a half marathon. I'm not doing any of that. It's like little sprint intervals, but I was able to do it. And the next day wake up and be like, I can't tell that I ran yesterday.
Did I ever tell you this story about how I used to run with my husband? And my husband will eat 1,000-pound cake and he'll have a six-pack. That's just the way he's built. So he'll run. So we were running together. His shirt is off. He's like glistening. The abs are like on fire, like just fantastic. And here I am, red as a lobster. I'm like, like asthma kicking in. And I just felt like a beached whale. Like, and I'm not even that big, or I was never that big, you know? So it shouldn't have been that hard for me to run, but I absolutely despise running. Not my thing.
Yeah.
Put me in a spin class. I'm good.
Yeah.
Running, I'm like,
that used to be me when I was younger. I could teach group exercise classes and we would do aerobathons where basically it would be like 4 hours of aerobics.
Yeah.
No problem. But try and run for 4 hours?
No way.
Not a chance.
I give my hats off to runners. I mean, if you can do it. But I feel like it's so hard on your body, your shins, your knees, your hips. It's like, dong, 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 dong. Who has I don't want to be dunk-dunking all over the place. No dunk-dunks for me.
Yeah. Okay. So we wrote down.
Yeah.
It's funny because you talked about a checklist. So yes, if you're not watching this on YouTube, you don't get to see the fact that I do have a checklist in front of me.
Yeah.
Because I think that the two of us, so my daughter was diagnosed last year with ADHD. And so the things that we figure out and we point out on her, and she keeps looking at me, she goes, Mom, I got it from you. Mom, I clearly got it from you. You're totally undiagnosed ADHD. And it's still like, so I'm like, okay, I definitely need some checklists. I need some other things so that I make sure that I stay on it. What would you say specifically for women over 40 in terms of goals and resolutions and when it, like, what would you think is different? What have you noticed in your 40s versus maybe different from your 30s or your 20s?
As far as the goals you have,
yeah, just the goals that you're setting or, ending the year.
I feel like the older you get, especially with kids involved or even a career, your responsibilities clearly are a lot more. In my 20s, my checklist was make sure you study for your biology, make sure your microbiome flashcards are done. I was kind of a late bloomer with my college career because I had ADHD, or I still do. And college was not very easy for me. And so my 20s, I want to say, make sure you buy, the club clothes that I put in my cart for Forever 21 or something. But as you grow, I think my checklist is very different in the sense that, have the kids X, Y, and Z ready to go. It's still a checklist no matter what. I've had a checklist since I was in my 20s, right? But it's just different in the sense of your responsibility. I don't know, things around the house, like chores that need to be done. Fix the refrigerator, for God's sakes. I don't know, something. It's just different.
I saw a social media trend and it was, you put out there, my mom would die knowing that these are the things that I don't do. And when you're saying that in terms of things to do, there are things that I will put off. For the longest time, we have this China hutch and we moved. The glass pane in one side was broken. And it didn't bug me. Like, it wasn't something that I did. She's like, I cannot believe you're not fixing that. Like, why are you not fixing that? And so it's funny that you're talking about like goals as you go through. Because if there's anything in my house that breaks apart or doesn't work or whatever, she's like, why don't you fix that? You need to fix that.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't bug me as much.
Oh my God, it drives me bonkers. Let me tell you, I literally had someone from a company come in to give me a quote for my closets, not the kids' closet space. Because every time I look at their closet, I'm like, it's not functional. It has no drawers, a bunch of shelving. And I'm like, no, it's not functional. So then she comes in for a complimentary consult. She'll, pricing out, we're mapping out what we're going to do. My husband says to me, Nar, this isn't the time. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, but you don't get it. You shop around. You have an idea in your mind. The plan is set. And then I'm not going to leave it to the last minute. Oh, I guess I am not procrastinating. I'm actually planning ahead. So I'm doing really good. Because it takes planning. And he thinks, oh, once we have, let's say, the budget for extra closets or whatever, then we're going to go and just pick a person. They're going to come and do the work and then that's it. But no, you need planning done. So yes, if something is off in the house, I swear to God, I'm like a man. Okay. I like to do things. It's very people like to garden in the house.
Yeah.
It's very therapeutic for me to assemble things. Give me an IKEA closet. I will assemble it. It's very therapeutic for me.
See, I always think I feel guilty.
Why?
There's something with work that needs to be done. And it's constantly that guilt. So the other day when I came home and I had gone to Costco and I was cleaning stuff out, and we do like a regular subscription with meat so that we get like clean, organic, pasture-raised meat, whatever. But I opened up the freezer and I'm like, wow, there's like hardly anything in here. Because usually I'll order it when I make meals. I'll go out to the garage and I'll be like, okay, what meat cuts do we have out there? Okay, this is what we have. Okay, this is what's going to be the meal plan this week. But I found myself sitting there going, oh, let's pull the stuff out of the freezer and let's organize it. And then I went over and we have like a pantry in the garage and I started organizing everything. And sure as day, I still felt bad. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta go take care of this work stuff. I gotta go get this work stuff done. So I have a hard time. For me, I would say with goals, so many of my goals are related to business stuff. As not as many in terms of like the house or the kids or whatever. And I think that's something, getting you know, to my age, I'm like sitting there going, oh my gosh, like in 2 months, I'm going to be 48. And my husband just turned 49. So we're kind of really feeling like that half a century is like really like creeping up close, and looking at some of the things and some of the things we're doing. I'm like, wow, like things just change, you know? And so these goals, I'm like, wow, but I try to really find how can I, like sometimes at night when I sit and I watch TV, I'm like, this is okay. This is okay for me to just sit here, decompress and watch TV. And my kids at that point, one of them's in a room studying for her anatomy final, and the other one is off at like youth group or something. So I don't have little kids anymore. They're busy doing other things, but I find myself being so guilty. And I think that's something that's, when I talk about goals and allowing myself to do that, it's really hard to do that, to just sit back and be, this is okay.
Oh, yeah. I haven't watched Real Housewives in so long. But and my husband always tells me, why do you waste your time on that? And I say, it's mindless TV. It's something that I can just dive into someone else's problems for once and then just shut mine off. And it's like my guilty pleasure. But you would understand, or many of the listeners who are, let's say, business owners or who work, your mind is always going. So whether it's getting stuff done at the house, organizing your pantry, kids, getting new baskets, something, right? And then you have the business part of things like, oh, I should do marketing like this. I need to make business cards. My flyers are like this. Oh, this person messaged me about reschedule, especially since the holiday. You have no idea at work. Everyone's trying to get in for their last minute Botox, fillers, lips, holiday rejuvenation. I'm so spread, like so thin. I don't even know why I put on mascara, how I put on mascara in the morning. I'm like,
just get up and go.
So much is happening. Hence the coffee, adrenaline. Seriously, it's too much coffee.
Well, and then see, mine is just the flip side. So work for me is nice and easy right now. I can look at how do I want to tweak things for next year? How do I want to change things up? Because they're doing exactly where you're at. They're getting all their hair and skin and all that other stuff done. And they don't have time to spend on, you know, my number one most downloaded thing off my website right now, my 10-minute workout. Routine, because that's where people are at. And when I talk to them, and so that's why this December, in years previous, we've done like a 21-day detox from like, you know, Thanksgiving to Christmas, because people wanted a reset. And this year I said, I'm not going to do that. So my Black Friday special was, what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 weeks. And so like it kicks off next Monday, and we're going to do a protein challenge. So all I'm having them do is it's going to guide them through. I just want you to add 30 more grams of protein into your breakfast. So get 30 grams of protein for your breakfast. So I don't care what else you're doing, but if you get 30 grams of protein, it's a proven fact that if you eat your protein first and you get 30 grams of protein, it's really hard to eat a lot of the other crap because you're full then. And you're like, so if somebody I'm going to pick on a bagel only because you ate a bagel.
Hey.
But if you had your eggs and some breakfast greens and a bagel, if you ate your eggs and your breakfast greens, most people aren't going to have much room for that bagel left.
Right.
So it's just a way of shifting. And so I wanted to add something too. But
so good.
Then I told everybody the detox will start in January. But everybody doesn't want it. They don't want to start January 1st because they're still too hungover. So we're going to start the 1st, of course. Guess what I'm going to say? Monday of January.
So that's okay, here's my thing. One of the questions you had asked is, how do you get that spark back or the motivation back, right? And it's exactly like people like you, your friends around you, colleagues around you that are on this health journey or lifestyle kick. Because then when you start talking to people like yourself, then you say, okay, you know what? I'm going to make my time in the morning to make myself breakfast so I don't eat the bagel and cream cheese. I'm not hating on the bagel cream cheese because it's my jam. I love it. But at least I can get my greens and my eggs. And so it's surrounding yourself with people who are goal-oriented, whether it's with health or finance or whatever, because then it gets you back on the kick, which leads me to goals versus resolutions. So resolutions, part of the reason why I don't have resolutions because they're very vague, right? And then I fail. I'm like, well, by the end of the year, if I haven't met X, Y, and Z, I'm a failure. So fuck it. Why am I even trying? Like, who cares? But if your goals, like if one of your resolutions, let's just say, is I want to be a healthier person, to shift that mindset and say, I would like to become, instead of healthy, say, I want to eat protein at least in the mornings twice a week. Just start with that. And then that'll allow you to feel more like as if you've achieved something. You know what I mean? And then it makes you, okay, well, now that I have that under control, I'll put water in the mix and then my protein shake, whatever it is, right? So little increments allow you to feel more you've accomplished something.
My number one viral reel is, the hook on it is, what's the number one thing you need to do to lose weight, right? And so it goes into, no, it's not the 5 million things you just spewed off in terms of, I need to work out 5 times a week and I need to eat kale and I need to do protein or whatever. It's ultimately what I tell people. Right. I tell people it's one thing, just like you said, it's one thing that you can do. And so many people have these huge lofty goals, but if you do it one thing at a time, and I like to tell people, so for me, I know water is a big one for me. I've struggled with varicose veins for a really, really long time. I had surgery when I was younger. And so I know that I need to drink water because it's so much better for my blood and it helps everything else. And let's face it, I know when I'm drinking enough water because people are like, oh, your skin looks so good. I'm like, yeah, it's that stupid water. But it's so hard to do. So I set out in terms of, in creating the goal, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a little minder on my phone that goes off. And once an hour, it just pings me to drink water. And so I have this little tiny cup on my desk. And so I just fill that little tiny cup up with water and drink it. But it's not enough.
I should do that.
Because a lot of times
I'm horrible.
A lot of times that, you don't want to drink all the tons of water, because if you drink all the water, right? So here's this. If your goal is water, we'll just talk about this for a second. If you sit there and you drink tons of water, right? As a test, this is how you can tell if you're dehydrated. Take like a 16-ounce bottle of water. If you chug that and immediately have to go to the bathroom, it's probably because you're dehydrated, because your body's not absorbing any of that water. It's just basically dumping it out. And so what happens with people when they start increasing their water, they're constantly peeing. And they're like, this is so annoying. Like, I had one person say, it would be better just to pour the gallon of water in the toilet, because it's not.
That's all you're doing.
But once your body gets adjusted to it, then it changes everything on how it works. But so when I work with people, if their goal is health, what is one tiny little thing that they can do? And so for me, years ago, I had a life coach. I had suffered from really bad postpartum depression. And I had a life coach, and she would always say to me when things would come up, well, how would you do this for your clients? And I'm so bad at that. Like looking at myself, like, what would I tell a client this? And so I try and tell people that when I have goals, it's one tiny little habit. It makes a huge difference.
It totally does.
There's a question we had. What's a resolution that women should stop setting, in your opinion?
Resolution to stop setting is to have a resolution.
There you go.
Honestly, I think it's just, it sets you up for failure, in my opinion. I think because resolutions are more reactive. Goals are more proactive. So if you have a resolution, it's more about, I want to lose 60 pounds by summer. Can you do it? Sure, you could do it. But there's so many small little steps that you need to take before you see that. But if you were to change your mind and say, hey, instead of having a huge resolution, I'm just going to have a goal. So by, let's say we're in December, by let's say Valentine's Day, I want to drop 7 pounds. That's all I want to do. Or instead of saying, I'm going to sign up at the gym and go work out hard, what if I just do twice a week, take a walk? Like, just small. So I think the whole resolution pressure on us is to just stop with the resolution. Just have little goals. Like, imagine you end up saying, I'm going to have 5 goals. Do a checklist. I don't care. Have a checklist of goal number 1 is this. Goal number 2 is that. Let's say I want to save money, have $2,000 saved by whatever. If you want to go see, I don't know, some celebrity, Taylor Swift, I'm going to save this much money to go see. I think those are better because it allows you to be self-reliant, you're accountable, But when you say, oh, I have this like huge resolution, you're bound to fail. I'm sorry, but most people end up failing. That's why you end up having the same resolution over and over again. I know I fail at my resolutions 100%.
Yeah.
But goals, I stick with them.
I like the option too of having small wins. So
yeah, you celebrate them.
For me, it would be what I would like women to do is stop setting these massively huge goals. And I get it. If you've got, just like you said, if your goal is in 6 months or whatever, that you have this amount of weight that you want to lose, that's great. But if that's all you're focusing on, it's really, really hard. Sometimes when I'll write a nutrition plan for people and they'll get what I have and they'll look at the weight that I've put in there. Because I can get super technical with like the body fat and the muscle and getting all down to that. But a lot of times they'll look at the goal and they'll be like, but I want to lose like 20 more pounds. And I said, yes, but when we get to this goal, you'll feel amazing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times that's because so many women don't understand they have this number of what weight looks like. So I recently had this client and she's been working with me and she's done the detox and she was like, but I haven't lost any weight. But my clothes fit better. And I said, in your face, I could immediately see it when her face. I was like, it looks so much better because when I used to do the New Year's challenges for women and they would come in, I would tell them, we're going to weigh you in January, and then we're not going to step on the scale again until February. And they'd look at me and they go, why? Like, I want to step on the scale. And I said, no, you can't do that, because what happens with women, so, and this is just like for all of the women that are listening that are over 40, when you start lifting and you start walking and you start eating better, you don't magically all of a sudden start losing weight. For most women, because women notoriously undereat, just by
naturally,
general, they tend to undereat all the time.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I'm fighting with women to get them to eat more. But so what happens is if I put you on a plan for 4 weeks and you're eating better, cleaner foods and we're focusing on that, basically what's happening is now your muscles are taking up all of those good nutrients. It's going into your brain. It's going everywhere into your body. And so we start to see a change in body composition. So your body fat goes down, but your lean body weight goes up. And so those same women, in 4 weeks, they might not lose any weight. But if I took their body fat, it would go down. Yeah. And their lean muscle mass would go up. But that's most common with women because we're in a society that women still believe the best way to lose weight is you've got to eat less and move more. And so that's what they do.
Yeah.
But it's hard because women are, I find too, really emotionally attached to goals too. Yeah. So that changes the dynamics of a lot of things for women.
So I'm the opposite. I like to weigh myself once a week because it puts me in check. I know that you're saying that you might not lose scale wise. It's just one tool that we use, right, to determine if you're losing weight. Of course, your clothes, your muscle, your BMI, all that jazz comes into play. But if I weigh myself every week, I reflect on that week. What did I have? Why am I not losing? What happened? And some people who are on GLP-1s will come to me, Nar, I've been on this medication for this week and I've only dropped 1 pound. Well, you were 1 pound heavier last week, so that's a great celebration. Or they'll say, I haven't dropped anything, but my pants are a little bit looser. It's when you have that inflammation, like big puffy feeling, people who are on GLP-1s don't have that puffiness anymore. They kind of deflate. It's like a little balloon that's deflating slowly. But weekly weigh-ins for me are very important because, I don't know, it gives you something to look forward to. Like, okay, if I didn't lose, maybe I'll try something different or harder, or I don't know. It's the accountability that's
Well, and full disclosure, for me, I definitely weigh in every week.
Yeah.
For me, I do because, and for my clients, after they get out of that initial window, I'll have them weigh in because I want to see if you're generally on a weight loss goal. For women, I say you should maintain or lose weight each week. But if you gain weight, then that means we've probably done something.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing all the right tools. If you're using a GLP or you're following a really good sound nutrition program or whatever, if you see that weight go back up. And the thing is, I was once in college and I was listening to these girls and they were talking about, their weight and how they had lost all this weight and they were doing so great. And then they went out to dinner and they went out to the bar one night and they came back and they were like, I lost all those 5 pounds and they all came back overnight. Like, I gained it all back. And I wanted so badly to but they were like in the bathroom stall, knock on the bathroom stall and say, you didn't gain
5 pounds
of fat
over the
overnight.
weekend.
I'm
No.
like, that's the pure definition of inflammation. You just had a whole bunch of crap that you haven't been having. But what I will say, as you get older and you get into your 40s, I've noticed that, especially with my clients and even with me. So we went away for Thanksgiving. We went to Nashville. It was amazing. We had some great food and everything like that. And I knew I'd come back and I'd be inflamed. Like, I just knew that. But it used to be, you know, in my 30s, I'd be inflamed and be up 3 pounds and it would take a day or two. Now I noticed in my 40s, it'll take me an entire week for that inflammation to come back off.
It's the same thing with alcohol. I would drink and go partying, and then the next day we're doing it again. Or if I'm hungover, I'm good. Now I have maybe 2 glasses of wine. I'm hungover, and then it takes me an extra day to calm down. Honey, it's not just the diet. It's the alcohol. Everything after 40, just shit.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about goal burnout for a minute.
Okay.
Because I think that kind of goes along with everything that we've been talking about. So let's say if we put the resolutions aside and we don't do the resolutions, but we focus on a goal.
Yeah.
What would you say kind of, because there's kind of that cycle, excitement, maybe we overcommit, like we're going to choose too many things, then we get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then we quit. So just from your perspective of, you know, let's talk about with like the GLPs and the people coming in, because I think a lot of people, whether anybody, the number one goal resolution from almost everybody is to lose weight in the new year. Almost everybody that does. So from your perspective with the GLPs and with people overcommitting or big giant goals or burnout or whatever, what do you give them as advice? What do you tell them?
I say start slow. Very, very slow. So especially, and I say stop comparing your weight loss journey to someone else. So let's say someone's saying, first of all, they could be bluffing. Who knows? But if someone says to you, oh, I lost, let's just say I'm throwing out a number, 20 pounds in 1 month. You don't want to create this goal in your mind where I need to lose this. So let's just start very slow and keep it realistic, right? So you want to start the goal in a smaller scale, because once you achieve that, then you're like, oh, I could do more. I could do more. So one of the things that I always ask people, what do you weigh now? And what's your goal? And they'll actually undermine they actually don't try to overachieve. If they say, well, I weigh 150 and I think my goal is 140, to me, 10 pounds will come off in no time because I know the GLP works. And in my head, I'm like, are you sure you don't want to push this more? But then I just say to them, okay, let's do the 10 pounds. It's fine. Because I know once they reach that 140 or 150 weight or whatever goal they have, then it's going to be a lot easier it's like you're halfway there. Then you push them a little bit further. So I always just say, keep it small. Even with the GLPs, like, yes, it's a definite like big tool along with what you're going to eat and how you're going to exercise and just completely change your mindset and lifestyle, but keep it very small. You don't need to lose 20 pounds in a week. It's not realistic. And then you want your skin, I mean, that's a whole different topic, but you want everything else just to kind of go along with the ride. You don't want to lose all the fat and your skin's like, hey guys, I'm still chilling here. I'm all wobbly.
Yeah, the slower you lose weight, your skin actually will come in with it.
Yeah.
Because it has time to
and
come back in.
You'll keep it off. That's the thing. People who jump and it's very quick, they'll gain it back because they don't know how to function with that, you know? So if you lose it slowly in your journey of weight loss and like just slow, why am I like trying to find the words right now? Because there's so much going on in my head. Slow and steady. And then you'll start to learn the tools needed to like tweak what you're trying to do.
I think the science that pulls into it too is kind of how we were talking about that with weight loss. And if anyone is listening to this and their goal really is weight loss, what I have found with women over all the years is that first week, you definitely lose a bunch of weight. So you lose a lot more weight. And then a lot of times what happens is women get the second week and they're like, well, shit, it doesn't work because I didn't lose as much weight.
Yeah. And they compare it, right? Totally.
And the hard thing is in that first week, whether it's a GLP or whether you're doing it with nutrition or maybe you're just changing super like little habits, what happens is all that inflammation comes off. So you have all that excess water and all that inflammation that comes out of your body. And then once that inflammation is gone, I don't think people understand the biology of it.
Yeah. If
your body is inflamed, it will not let go of weight. People don't understand that. But so what's really great with, if you look at the science of the GLPs, or you look at some of the science of what's happening, is it's reducing overall inflammation. Again, the GLPs, I know I had somebody the other day, they're like, I don't even understand why the GLPs work. Like, I'm like, insulin. I was listening to this podcast, and the guy was going on, and it was Mel Robbins interviewing someone, and they were like, well, what's the master hormone? And the master hormone, and I know everybody's going to say for women it's estrogen and progesterone, and for men it's testosterone. I'm sitting there going, it's insulin. And then all of a sudden he comes out and he goes, the number one master hormone of your entire body that dictates everything is insulin. So he's explaining to somebody, I'm like, that's what these GLPs are going after, is the insulin. And so if you regulate insulin, it makes everything better. But still having clients that, that first week they lose everything, and then the second week they're nothing. I said, your body's just adjusting. It's saying, okay, hold on, let's see what's happening. And then at that point, I tell women to celebrate. If you're slow and steady, wins the race, because slow and steady means it's going to come off. People will talk to me and they'll say, well, I lost 10 pounds doing this. And then I'll ask them, okay, so what happened? What do you mean? I said, well, then why are you reaching out to me?
Yeah.
Like, if you lost the 10 pounds, oh, I gained it all back.
Right.
So that's the key. So slow and steady, I tell people that's the weight that'll stay off, and it's not going to come back on. But it's so hard for people, with the goals.
But also, here's the thing. Side note, I have someone who's on GLP, and she's losing weight. She's doing fantastic. But she's like, Nora, I'm starting to have headaches, and I'm a little shaky, and I'm sweating a little bit more than I'm used to. I'm like, honey, your blood sugar is dropping. You need to eat, right? So it's not a starvation diet. Yes, it will suppress your appetite, but you also have to take care of your body. Take the supplements that you need to be taking. If you're not eating, you're not getting nutrients. If you're not getting nutrients, at least take the supplements to, feed your body the nutrients that it needs. If you've got the headaches, it's because you're either dehydrated or, sweetheart, you're not eating. And she's like, you're right. I haven't eaten anything all day. I'm like, well, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah. And for those of you that are listening, our next podcast is actually going to be listeners' questions. Yeah. And so we're actually going to deep dive into one of those questions about that.
I was bombarded with questions, and I was like, okay, now people are listening. They're like, Nar, you guys have helped me so much. It was like, I can't wait for the next episode. It was such good feedback. So thank you all for that. That was awesome. It's so good to know people are listening and you're resonating with them. And you're at least taking something away from the podcast, right? And that's what we're here for. And when we first started, we literally started talking about this. We're like, I just want a space where I can talk about all the shit that people are thinking. They're not saying. They're saying, I'm going to go to the doctor's office, but then they come in and they get lip fillers instead, or they get Botox instead, or I'm losing the weight, but I'm not telling anyone I'm on GLP-1s. It's like, and then when I told people on my Instagram or my social media that I'm on GLP-1, I lost the 35 pounds, everyone's like, okay, Nar did it, so I guess it's okay to talk about it. And I'm not saying that I'm big shit. I'm really not. But it was something like to put a name to a face and who's done it and open about it. Then they're like, okay, then fuck yeah, I'll do it too. I can talk about it now. So it's good.
Well, and that's how everybody keeps telling me that they love the name, the Seriously What the 40, because I'm like, it is. Yeah. It seriously is. And then my daughter is making me this necklace that has the WTF on it.
Stop.
And so she was going to put it on her social media, and my husband's like, I don't think you could do that because WTF, everyone's going to know what that means. I'm like, because that's the podcast, what the fuck? But we changed it into what the 40 because it would make any more sense.
Yeah.
Any goals you want to share with our listeners for you for 2026?
I want to scale my business. That's what I want to do. I think I'm trying to find a balance on being a mom, but a present mom. And I just don't want to have the title of a mom. And I want to be present as a mom and be there. But I also do want to focus on my business. It's something, Corry, that's such a deep question, because when you come from a marriage where your husband is extremely successful, I don't want to just be like a Barbie doll sitting at home with my hand out saying, hey, honey, give me money. It's not the way I function. I've never functioned that way. So now that there's kids involved, I really want to set a good example for my daughter and say, hey, no matter what a man does for you in your life, your mom as a woman and you as a little girl can grow up to say, like, I want to do X, Y, and Z and set these high standards for yourself. So I don't want to just, and I don't rely on my husband. And bless his heart, I love him so much, but his success, he has made from nothing. It's like the rags to riches story. And one day I will share that with you all. But for me, I grew Bay and Bow Aesthetics out of nothing. It was just word of mouth, and I grew it and grew it. Now I'm at a point where I want to scale it. But there's a fine line between having to scale a business and being a mom that's present and, take her to, let's say, the holiday stroll that's happening tonight, or being active and take them to, because I have little ones, and it's probably the same thing with you, but on a different scale because your kids are older.
Yeah.
So that was a deep question for me.
I like it.
Yeah.
So my 2026 goals, I like to come up with a word. So that's the reason why I have this one. So this one says unstoppable on it. So that's kind of my word. But what I want my kind of theme to be is radical accountability. I went to this TEDx talk and they talked about radical accountability. And for me, for my health, with all the health issues I have going on, I want radical accountability to myself for my health, because I want to be, like, when I look at all of these things, they're stacked up with the high cholesterol and the heart disease and the osteoporosis. Like, there's so many things that are on me. And I'm like, I just want to break through all this. And so for me, it's the radical accountability with my own nutrition and with my own training and different stuff with that. But then my big goal is this year is I read it a couple years ago and then I reread it again, Shonda Rhimes' Yes Year. And for any woman out there that's just kind of thinking of things, I would challenge you to listen to this book. I would challenge you specifically to read this book. But she basically committed. And so for 2026, it's what I'm doing, is I'm going to say yes to everything that scares the shit out of me.
Oh, God.
Because, and it's mainly like in my business. So like I am going to be doing a preview. It's like American Idol for speakers, but I'm doing it in February. So I'm basically getting up there and talking about the journey from bodybuilding to menopause and everything I learned about it and what I want women to know about it for taking care of their health.
That's a really good topic. Bodybuilding to menopause. Yeah. Like, what the hell? The shift between what? Because when you said it, my brain went from a body type to a different body type, like a lifestyle to a different lifestyle.
Exactly. But so that's my big one, is to say yes to everything that scares the shit out of me.
Oh, that's really good. So, good for you, Corry.
And it's going to, but it kind of started like when I said yes to the podcast, and then, Jen and I have like this whole Thrive thing that we're building. And a lot of the stuff, it just, talking to some of the women, I'm like, you want me to go talk to who? You want me to say what? And it scares me, but I'm at that point kind of where you are. I want to take my business to the next level and I want to be present. And, I got high schoolers. So I'm realizing the other day when we went to Tennessee and I was so excited that we're looking at all these colleges for my daughter, I was like, oh my God, this means she's leaving in a year and a half.
That's heart-wrenching.
And that was like, I don't know that I can handle that.
Yeah.
But, it's just, it's exciting, but it's still, wow.
Yeah.
So
good for you. That's awesome.
Let's go off of this so we don't get sad and cry or whatever. So we got to do what we always do, our rapid fire.
Let's do it.
Okay. So I know this one for you. Maybe not. Maybe it's different with kids now. New Year's Eve, out or stay in?
Out.
I'm that lame one. I stay in.
I love, me. I love a good glam session and just having a night to myself.
So here's the challenge. Maybe you need to invite me to come out so that I get my butt off. Because then, you know what? If I have somebody invite me to go out on New Year's Eve, I'm going to have to say yes.
Yeah.
Because I won't be able to stay home.
I love it. Listen, my husband said, hey, Nar, do you think we should have a New Year's Eve party at this restaurant? I was already planning, I have the guest list going. I have the vendors. All we need is bartenders. My brain was like, boom, 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 boom. This is what we're doing. This is what we're going to plan. And then we're not having it, but I'm all for a good New Year's Eve. It's not. Anyway, listen, the kids fall asleep at 7:38. Then what am I going to do? Say Happy New Year?
My kids are up. My kids are up.
I just want to party. I just want a reason.
They're the ones going to the party.
Can I tell you something real quick? So we went to this place in Redondo. Why am I forgetting the name? Whatever. It's a club. And there was a woman there and she was dressed in some cool leather pants and this lacy outfit, leather jacket. She was such a badass. I loved it. And I complimented her. I'm like, excuse me, not to be creepy, but I love your outfit. This whole vibe is my thing. I love it. And she said, listen, I'm a mom. I'm a single mom. And the one opportunity I get to get out, I'm dressing up. Because other than that, I'm in sweatpants and a sweater and whatever. So that just reminded me of that. So yes, New Year's Eve, if I get a chance to glam out, honey, I'm doing it.
Yeah, my husband and I need to definitely do it. Okay, for goals, vision board or checklist?
Checklist, 100%.
I did a vision board last year, but I still like checklist better.
Vision board would be I don't know. I can't do it. I'll just stare at it. I'm like, what?
So this one has to be in here because it's just funny. So start Monday or start now?
Start Monday. It's so bad.
I know. I'm probably a start Monday too. And then a planner girl or wing it woman?
No, planner. I'm planner.
I think I'm kind of both, but then I think the best stuff comes out of it when I just wing it.
I could wing it, but I should plan. I'm a plan. No, I'm a planner. As I've gotten older, I'm a planner. 100%. I'm telling you, I have like 5 different checklists. Or am I checking them off? I don't know. Once in a while, I'm like, oh crap, I still have to do that. And I revisit the checklist a year later.
That's awesome.
I'm like, I still haven't done that.
Okay, so from all of us at Seriously What the 40, we just want to wish you a happy new year. So this is our last one for 2025, and we will see you back in 2026.
Can you believe it?
No, and you're definitely going to want to listen to the first one in 2026 because it's all about your questions.
Yep. Bye.